We made the video. I'm pretty excited for you guys to see it. Thanks to everyone in our group who asked such amazing questions. As a matter of fact, the two ladies that we interviewed, Rhianna and Divine, we're super excited to get to answer some of these questions and felt like they were questions that a lot of people don't know anything about. We're going to jump right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. We'll be coming out with more videos like this with other topics based on your suggestions.
How do you find a good VA? One of our group members asked. I've tried some, and they're either hard to communicate with or just very in one box where I need someone willing to be trained to my specific needs.
So for me, more from the client side, so first I started with Fiverr, and Fiverr didn't turn out so well. I did find a pretty cool VA that was communicative and helpful. However, at that time, I was only searching for product research VAs. And so they weren't listing. I wasn't really giving them any access to accounts or anything like that. After Fiverr and just not having like that outstanding experience that I was looking for a VA, I discovered Divine. And so Divine, she holds digital consultancy services, and she teaches Filipina VAs to become freelancers and specific niches such as Etsy, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, Amazon, eBay, you name it. She knows it all, and she teaches her knowledge. Number two, if they know how to handle this type of situation, or if they have not received an issue with this type of situation, then what can they pull, out of the hat at the drop of a dime? And again, this also just checks their spelling, their general English. And then we have another question down here. If approved and introduced to the group, what are two things, professional and personal, that you'd like your client to know to help with their decision in choosing you? Also, again, just test their English as well, because sometimes Divine knows I'll get answers where someone just says professional. So they didn't quite comprehend the question, and that just tells me that maybe I need to reach out to them and see if I can help them with that understanding. And, there's a back-end reason for those questions, and so that's why I just dig a little bit deeper.
So what you're saying is basically this is a resume for them that you put online. Do you actually put it online onto your group so that people can read it and actually see exactly what their skill set is?
Yeah.
And
no.
Go ahead. What?
That's a good thought. But no, actually. So it is like an internal Google form that the VA would submit to, and then only I would have their responses. And so I review it, and then I make a decision. And I do reject a lot of VAs because I can tell very easily if someone's trying to scam something. And so with that being said, once I make that decision, then that's when you'll see that introductory of like approved VA with the name and that information, and then essentially a client can come along and just comment on there. I do snip some important or some progressive things I see in those portfolios that would really stand out. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Even if I notice that they've done really well with their portfolio with like Canva design and stuff, that can be super helpful right now for shops. And so I do try to like snip out little photos of that and stick it in the comments so that others might be able to review that same stuff.
What your group does is it takes the VA, the potential VA, you go through it, you make sure that everything is good. You pull out the highlights, and then you either approve it or disapprove it. Do you put up the VAs that have been disapproved, or only the VAs that have been approved?
I don't actually, because, and here I'll show you a tab here.
Okay.
So when a VA has not been approved or they don't meet that standard expectation of at least having a client for up to 30 days, then they move to the apprenticeship form, which is where they'll have the chance, and these questions are all pretty much the same. It's where they will have the chance to apprentice under a client, and I get either those requests by another Google form that's in the group, or sometimes I'll be watching and I'll notice that a client is very interested in having a VA, or they've posted in multiple groups, and I'll see if there's some way that I can help by offering them this VA who is already registered for apprenticeship, which is unpaid work time, so that they can gather that experience under a client. And it doesn't really matter if the client has a ton of drop shipping experience or not. It can definitely be a journey that both the client and the VA can kind of go together on. And then once the VA is doing well, the client might see like, wow, this has really taken a chunk of time off of my clock, and I'm going to keep this VA.
Mm-hmm. Right. I actually really liked that idea, and I don't know how you came up with it. Sometimes I call it stinking thinking, that you can come up with something amazing like that. But
Not sure.
that was pretty neat when I saw that.
There have been also, Divine has been a really big, just watching, how she's kind of been doing her VA business, and she's always working on new ventures, and right away I saw that there was definitely a need for like a specific group like this. And with Divine, being in part of the group too, we're just gonna kind of run it together and see where it goes. But it really helps that she sort of has got this like river of VAs coming in, and then I'm kind of more clients, so I seem to find more clients to invite to the group. And so, yeah, it actually has been turning out to be, tons of VAs in the group have found employment, to the point where I'm checking like on their introductories, like, hey, are you still taking clients? And they're messaging me and saying, I'm not taking clients. I'm already so booked from this group. And so that's like really amazing to hear. Divine, she's just one gal, and then she's got her team. But who could, imagine if I was actually finding all those VAs a job instead of just posting like a little Facebook of VAs? That would be quite some work. So it's kind of like a really good win-win for both of us.
Divine, how did you come up with create the criteria that you have for the school to be able to train all these VAs?
Yes, so because me, I started also to be a virtual assistant, and the same thing also. I am an online seller here in the US, so that's why I can see the both part, the part of the needs of online seller, and also what are needs to improve as a virtual assistant. So that's why because I have my personal virtual assistant also in my business, so that's why I started to to do tutorials first in my YouTube channel, and then that's the start. I get inquiries. Are you teaching virtual assistant? Are you coaching a virtual assistant? So that's why I create a course. Started with eBay, and then Amazon, and then now Facebook Marketplace, because that's the become hit this year. Mm-hmm. So I have like recorded videos first, and then 1 month they going to watch that and then send portfolios or assignments weekly. And then after that, I require them to have another 1 month as apprenticeship, where I will assign them in the real clients. So they will experience the actual work, and then they will grow with that. They will master and practice, or apply to practice their skills, that what they have learned in the course.
What tools would you say that you give them access to so that they'll just be ready to assist any clients?
Yeah. So for example, the List Perfectly, the C-Drop, AutoDS, and for Amazon, we have the Bybot Pro, so everything that we are using in product research or listing, they will have the chance to access that.
And so that's the amazing thing too about VAs that have gone through certifications, because a lot of those tools that she's mentioned, I've only barely signed up for them and then canceled the trial because, how can you use so many tools? However, certain softwares and tools are really going to be specific to certain sellers. I know sellers that only stand by AutoDS. Personally, I just couldn't figure it out. It had my head spinning, and I was like, I'm going to try this again later, and now it's been months down the road. Z-Drop, there are many sellers who've never even used Z-Drop. They don't even realize that, like FBM Fox or Z-Drop, there's another way to list besides clicking all your buttons all day. And so it's really helpful to have a VA come with that automated knowledge already of how they can work smarter and not harder right away.
Yes, correct. Yeah, because it's not everyone, using the same tools.
Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to touch too on apprenticeships. I know that wasn't on our list of questions. So with apprentices, I think that it's an amazing opportunity because like with Divine, I received a general virtual assistant. So this would be not, e-commerce based. So a general virtual assistant that I worked with for a month and I think it was about 6 or 7 hours a day. And she now works for me 7 hours a day, full time, 5 days a week. And I couldn't have had a better experience. So now I'm like apprentice addicted because I'm like, wow, so it's like I used to run assisted living homes, and I'd get these caregivers who would come in, and they, could be between like their 35, maybe 45 years, and they just weren't moldable. They had been doing it for so long, and there was nothing I could change about that. It didn't matter if this person liked ice with their water and this one didn't. They were giving ice to both of them. It just didn't matter. They were very cookie cutter. And so with an apprentice, they're coming straight out of a course. It'd be like watching YouTube for us, learning how to do Facebook Marketplace, and then, taking it under a client and just trying it out. So often these VAs, especially if you've noticed the trend, in other countries, shipping is not enabled. So they don't have full access to really executing what they've learned in that course unless they are working under a mentor or a client who does have that shipping option, and they can get through that full drop shipping. With that being said, I think that the apprenticeship opens up so much opportunity because you're able to mold your VA, teach them your exact methods they haven't learned before because they haven't been under a client working. And then in addition to that, you can go through that 30-day period, and at the end of the 30 days, you can say, hey, you pretty much hit the bar on everything except for this one thing, and you can work something out like, I'm going to do a paid internship now for you. So if you can meet this bar within the next 2 weeks or 30 days, we'll move from, $2 or $3 up to $4, or we'll move from $3 or $4 to $5. You can kind of turn that apprenticeship even into an internship, and it just gives them full access to the knowledge base that you're pretty much handing them. So it's not to say that an apprenticeship who comes along, an apprentice is under you, will have absolutely no knowledge, because again, like I said, they've gone through this course, they've watched things, just like we have on YouTube, and so think back to the first day. I just really want clients to remember this. Think back to the first day when you tried out drop shipping, and it was only something that you saw on YouTube, but you did it. And so you were able to level up with that knowledge very easily and turn someone who didn't know about e-commerce into like an e-commerce skill set. And so there is a lot of room for growth with apprenticeship VAs. And even if they've never been or touched, the Facebook Marketplace, trust me, they will excel further than you can even imagine.
Yeah, actually, that's what that's why I created that apprenticeship program, because sometimes it's not enough just watching the videos. It's very important to do what you have learned you know, in that course, and then apply it. And also, this is also what I'm, you know, I'm advising to to our clients. You know, sometimes there will be like a 1 month, you know, adjustment for both that virtual assistant and the online seller, or the, you know, the client, because of, you know, the relationship you need to build up first. You know, the trust, you know, and also the time the time adjustment, you know, because of the time difference between the US and also in the Philippines. So that's why, yeah, that apprenticeship also will helps, you know, for you and the VA, you know, to have the relationship first and understand each other first, and then later on, you know, you will see how you can, you know, what now.
Okay, I've got a few more questions for you guys, and this is like this so amazingly good information, and I'm so happy about it. So one of the questions that our group members had is, what types of programs do you use to manage the people with efficiency? Now, one of the questions that I had personally is, how do they access your information? I mean, do you give them your Facebook account information so they can get in, or how does that work so that everything is safe, that your personal information is safe and separate from your Facebook Marketplace account?
Yeah, so I think I will answer first. So for the virtual assistant, you know, this is what I always advise to our clients. So first of all, don't, you know, if you feel that you are not comfortable to give you everything, it's okay. You know, try them first in the product research first, and then later on, of course, you will, you know, feel the VA if she is good or he is good. And then for the personal information, we have tools that you can use, like LastPass, or for example, doing you know, remote access, like TeamViewer, you know, AnyDesk. And for the card information, you know, it's automatic. It's already set up in your Walmart, so you don't need to give your credit card information there. Only the CVV, just to verify and, you know, place the order. So that's why it's not that, you know, very scary to do that. Yeah, because there's a lot of ways, you know, for you not to give all your information in the VA.
So do you feel like it's safe to give someone an AnyDesk? So like, let's say you download AnyDesk and then you give them access to be able to come on your Facebook Marketplace. Do you feel like that's safe to be able to do that through AnyDesk?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, actually, I believe Rhianna have a story about it.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I did used to have VAs connect by VPN. And personally, I noticed a lot of like trending bans. It was like I was getting banned like constantly, actually. And now I've only noticed that my account will go into review if I've sold something I'm not supposed to. And so I don't know, call me a car salesman or whatever, but sometimes things will come up that Facebook says don't sell that, and we don't take it down right away. And before I know it, the next day I'm receiving a ban. So besides the point, though, I decided, okay, let's do AnyDesk. The other thing that I really like about AnyDesk is it's free. And, you know, we might throw money around here in America, but that's not the right way. None of us will ever get anywhere if we always are spending, you know. And so with that being said, I do really appreciate some of the cultural things of Philippines. They don't throw money around like we do. And so if there's something an expense that's unnecessary when there is an alternative like AnyDesk, then why use a VPN that you would have to pay for monthly when you could do AnyDesk? So one thing about AnyDesk, though, that you have to consider is that you would not be able to also utilize your computer while a VA was remotely accessing your computer. Now, you can both access it for the purpose of like a demonstration or something to walk a VA through something, but you will not both be able to work. In fact, just yesterday, while my team manager was training, I saw one person put in the channel on personal PC screen 1, and then here comes the other VA and said on personal PC screen 2, and I said, is that possible? And they said, no, we figured out it's not. And I said, yeah. So you have to realize that you will either want to buy, a little laptop off of Facebook Marketplace or something, it doesn't have to be the fastest running thing, but you do kind of want to think about processor speed because just same with VPN, there is a slight delay in that speed. Think of space, it takes a little bit for that connection to get all the way over here. So
you would actually suggest AnyDesk to be used versus a VPN?
I would. And the really great thing about AnyDesk is you have some options that most AnyDesk users are not aware of. You have the option to turn on screen recording. So let's say that, it's 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. is more like my time. I'm going to hit the sheets and go to bed, but my VA might still access one of my computers. So I can actually record that session. And if I felt the need to, I can go back and just see like what was going on here. Also, too, there is the option to set an unattended password. So with AnyDesk, you will have to click accept each time that somebody is requesting access to your desktop. However, and you could give this to just one VA or you could give it to them all. You could do it how you want. So for this, you can actually provide a password to them in which they will click request access, and then they will be given a tunnel password where then they will be given access completely to your desktop without you present. And so that is an option. I've seen a huge question amongst clients wondering, well, what happens if I go out of town? What would happen here? One thing about AnyDesk that is a common misconception is that it will not work on Chromebooks. And I repeat for the people in the back, Chromebooks are only a Chrome browser. It's only an operating system. So it's not a window-based computer. So you would need that in order to do any type of remote desk. So whether it be TeamViewer or AnyDesk. So you won't be able to use that on an iPad. You won't be able to use it. Actually, surprisingly enough, you can use AnyDesk on an iPhone, but basically I can connect and watch what's going on that desktop, and that's it. I can't really move around or anything, so you won't really be able to use it unless you have an actual PC or a desktop or something like that.
Okay, so that's actually pretty good. So just to recap, because I had a friend here crying, you said can't be used with a Chromebook,
right?
Can't be used with a Mac.
It can be used with a Mac, actually. I had someone not an iPad, and I would say no tablets and no Chromebooks.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like you need to install the software, in the computer. So that's why you cannot use the iPad and tablet to navigate, use the AnyDesk.
Yes. Something I did want to mention is just for like those clients that are looking for those other marketplaces to expand, like at least for drop shipping. There are certain marketplaces that I've noticed they aren't touchy-feely like Facebook. And so if client does, oftentimes, like we will just say, for instance, Divine. So not only does she do the apprenticeship, and you didn't touch on this, I'm just going to throw this in here for you. Not only does she do the apprenticeship, but she also has certain VAs who will stick with her agency, and they just prefer to have that security of going through an agency, just like you would if you needed a caregiver for mom. You wouldn't probably find someone maybe off care.com. Instead, you'd kind of go with an agency. So she's got a lot of VAs that are still staffed with her. So they get those amenities, like she mentioned, the tools. So then they have access to also a VPN. So with that being said, if said VA is either going through an agency or they've decided to pay for a VPN on their own, that does open up a little leeway for like other marketplaces such as Mercari, Etsy, Amazon. All of those can be accessed by VPN. The last thing I wanted to mention is if you are a client who is on the train of Facebook shops, that's great that you figured it out. Tons of us are very excited about shops, and one of the main things that is so exciting about shops is if you've had a big business page, then you know that you do not have to give direct access to a VA on your business page. In fact, you can add them as an admin. So this leaves out the need for VPN. VPN I think would probably still be safe, but I don't think my two VAs who are running one of my Shopify pages, I don't think they're even using VPN. And Facebook doesn't say, hey, this person's connecting from Manila, Philippines. It doesn't say anything. So it's a perfectly safe option to make that person an admin. If you've got the shops option, this will not apply to Marketplace. And so if you've got the shops option, no need to have your computer being run up for hours, while someone's doing some work. So I just wanted to throw those things in there.
That's fantastic. I was thinking about that also. And then, Divine, I had one last question for you that I was thinking about. As far as the VAs are concerned, and you could probably even answer it also, Rhianna, how many clients can one VA work with at a time?
Yes. So right now I have in my agency, there's like a one VA that can handle like 3 clients, but of course for me, I always wanted the VA, to give a quality service to each client, so of course I will not give those clients if I know that, this VA cannot handle, that much, number of clients. But because of the, in Facebook Marketplace, there's a lot of sellers that they don't want to touch it, their account. So they can only do like product research and then, listing in the software, like in AutoDS. So they only work like 2 hours. So that's why like what I said, some of the VAs that we have in the agency, they have, 3 clients because it's only like 2 to 3 hours per client. The work
per day.
Yes.
Yeah. They need at least 8 hours to work.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate the questions, answering all these questions and stuff. And from what I understand, even though you have a VA for drop shipping group, you can hire a virtual assistant for pretty much anything they need to help alleviate some of the time to focus on things that are more important, money-making things.
That was something I really wanted to throw in there earlier, actually, is clients, you would be surprised what else your VA has experience doing. Let's say you have some other things on the side, or even like, let's say that you're on shops. Let's just start there. Let's say you're on shops and you're going to need a little bit of material and content for that page for shops in order to, like, if someone's on there and they're looking at your catalog, that's great. But what happens when they go to your page? Do you have, something for them to look at? And so maybe you might not be proficient in that. And most of these VAs, they go through some standard stuff that Divine teaches on, and other trainees such as Canva, light use, but it's just enough to get you through the lobby, and that's all that you need, and so but I really also wanted to just touch on a couple of things that I know are standard questions that I get in the VA group. So communication is the number one thing that people seem confused about. Like, how do I connect with this VA? So some of the standard ways that that most non-Americans are connecting with us over here in America is WhatsApp. It's also run by Facebook. And WhatsApp is great. You can do, you can send images, you can do video, you can do voice recording, anything like that. I personally use Slack messaging, so that's another free way to chat with your VA. I personally would not suggest or advise you use Facebook Messenger, and that's just because, things might get lost. There's the marketplace messages coming through, yada, yada. I just think to have it all organized is really helpful. Most times, if you have like if you have an international plan, you can text message, but I just don't advise that stuff because you want to be able to have, so with WhatsApp and Slack, you can access it both on your phone and you can access it on the web. So that's super helpful. And then as far as like staying organized with your VA. So how will you know what they did that shift, right? So spreadsheets are really important, and I was just going to show you guys my screen right quick, actually, so you guys could see. So spreadsheets are really big. You're going to want to have a sales tracker. If you haven't been using a sales tracker, it's going to make things very difficult for your VA. So even if you don't really access your trackers, that's okay. Just as long as your VA has a place so that she can stay organized. For instance, this sales tracker we have here, when we click on this order link, it's going to take me directly to the order. So this stuff is really helpful to have. Another, and this is like my top secret, this is my tea, but I've been keeping it to myself and I'm happy to share it now at this point because a VA having some success is super important. So what I have here is called our PRD, and this is a product research database. So let's say that you are a client that is thinking like, I know how to find the best products, and that's that. So a lot of clients right away, they feel more comfortable doing their own product research. So what I've created here is a database for the VA to come to that already has what I would charge. So the supplier price is $9.97, and I would charge $33 for this item. And so this is already laid out, and the VA can just go, let's say, Facebook Marketplace is running that back to school sale, so everyone should be posting back to school and office supplies. So with that being said, the VA can choose by category here, back to school, and so forth. So having a database where the VA can access of your products that you've already got set up with the price point, though, I can't stress that enough, so that your VA will already understand your profit margins. And then having, you don't necessarily need a spreadsheet to track what you're listing. That's very silly. You can easily find your product just by Googling the title of your product, if you can't find it later, it's very easy. So you don't want to have your VA doing too much data entry that's going to cause unnecessary use of clock time. Maybe during apprenticeship, that's one thing, but I feel like when you're paying them, you're going to want to make sure that you're paying them for like what's a necessity, and so just to track your sales is the most important. And as everybody knows who's been selling on Facebook Marketplace, it is seriously the most chaotic thing ever to try to locate anything later. So you want to try to capture all that information like while it's right there, because it's like digging through a pile of a needle and haystack. So
yes.
So I really just wanted to touch on that, because the number one thing that I get is like, how am I going to talk to this person? And also, how am I going to, one thing that I tell my main assistant every day, I said, if I'm unorganized, you're unorganized. So that is the way it is. If you've ever worked in a business or a company, where it's just like, it feels so unorganized and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing every day, that's how your VA will feel too.
And also, this is what I noticed also. Some of the online sellers, they just give everything, the work to the VA. So you should not forget also that you are the team leader. You are in your own business. So VAs is only a helper for you to grow your business, but it doesn't doesn't mean that you're going to give everything, to your VA. You still be the one who going to manage your business, and then you will lead your VA, to grow your business. That is I notice also of other, online sellers. So that's why they don't become successful in their business, because they just, when they think about the VA, it's like the VA will run the business. No, you are the manager. You are the one that owns your business.
Exactly. It does depend, I think, like if you're leveling up, like, and expanding your team. But Divine has a really great point, especially when you're just working with one or maybe two VAs. They still need somebody to turn to in times of confusion or clarification. Like my assistant manager, she's like ground up, like totally trained, she is me, but she's her, and so that's, one way that I can work on other projects. But at the end of the day, like I am her chain of command. So I am the only person that she has to go to. And if I've made myself unavailable to her, then she will only fail. That's not, a tower of success. So I completely agree.
Yeah, I know that I just remember that because when Rhianna is showing how she is organized, because that's what you want also to see in your VAs. If you are online seller, you are a business women entrepreneur, you need to show also that that you are also organized, or something that you want to follow of your VA. So that's the same thing also to me, because I'm also like a manager of my agency, and whatever I show to them, they will follow. So that's why we have the same system, we have the same focus, we have the same goals. So that's why our clients, we have clients that they are really working with us in the long term, and that is our goal. So the same thing also, I'm talking right now as an online seller. Yeah, so if we want to grow our business, we need to be the one, a good example, a good organizer, a good manager of our business.
I sold real estate for 20 years, and having assistants and stuff along the way, they're really an extension of you and how you want to present your business. And so they're there to free up time for you to be able to do more, to be able to level up.
One really big thing, like you asked initially, was your first question is like, how do you know when to get the VA, And immediately I actually thought probably completely different from you, Divine. I thought to myself, like, wow, if I could go back, what would be the first choice I'd make? It wouldn't be like not to learn Facebook Marketplace, but it would be like, as soon as I had knowledge of it, find someone else who had some knowledge of it and have them do it, for me. And so, take it as you will. It doesn't mean that I'm lazy, but, I have the shiny squirrel syndrome, that everyone else has. There's so much to e-commerce, and you're like, wow, if I could do it all. And so that's the number one thing, honestly. Right. You just see all these opportunities. So with that being said, though, like, honestly, if I could take it back, I wish I would have found a VA right away, because I just think about all those like hours that I could have been spending on doing something else, And so, I mean, every client will make their own choice. They might think like, oh, I could still do this. Or, oh, I hear this from clients all the time, like, oh, well, I think it's fun doing the product research. I think it's fun doing order fulfillment. I'm like, but what if you were doing something else and then you also still had to fit that in your day? Like, would that seriously be fun? Because to me, I'm like, like I can't fit it all, So.
Yeah, because a virtual assistant, it's like you're doubling your time. You have the other, hand there doing things, and you have the other, yourself, exploring and learning other things. So that's why virtual assistant is really, good. And also, if the online sellers or entrepreneurs are also scared, to get the VAs that is not, reliable, the same thing also with the VAs, they are also scared, to get clients that they will not pay them anything, so that's why we are working together with Rhianna, because right now I'm getting overwhelmed of a lot of clients, to handle. Yeah, so that's why I said, I agreed with Rhianna of what they're seeing, in her group, because it's really, help us, with my students, to get clients and then become more confident, At the same thing, also, they will be safe and secure. At the same time, we are trying also to, to help also the online sellers to get the right VAs, without, that nervous, the scary feeling that they will, they will get a VA that, they will not reliable.
My goal is for the group is to be very transparent and to be able to have the people in our group feel safe. And I really believe that just having this interview with you guys, it's going to give all of our people a peace inside their heart, knowing that if they want to level up their business or even free themselves to be able to focus on even more projects at the same time, that this is an actual real solution for them, and they can feel confident about that.
Thank you so much for listening to our video. Weren't these ladies amazing? Hope to see you again at the next video. We will be asking the questions. If you're not already part of our group, I've put the link below so that you can come and join our group. We are a marketplace for sellers only, and that's exactly what we're doing, is finding different ways to make your life easier so that we can teach and support each other.